Now let's take a look at Active Directory replication in part 2 of the application directory replication videos. And what I want to do is in a text-based way now just kind of reiterate what I did in part 1, which was all animation-based. First of all, understand that when I load Windows Server 2008 onto a machine, it does not make it an Active Directory domain controller. I have to install the domain services role, and then I have to run DC promo to promote that server to a domain controller. Once it has become a domain controller, then it has Active Directory database installed on it, and it will now replicate changes to all other domain controllers within the same domain. This happens automatically. There's nothing you have to do to cause it to happen. It just happens. But there are some things that you need to be aware of. The Active Directory database is divided into multiple partitions or sections that can be replicated independently of each other. You have the domain partition. I mentioned in part 1, this has all the objects stored in a domain: users, groups, computers, group policy objects, and so forth. The configuration domain or partition keeps up with the logical structure of the forest, the number of domains, the number of sites, which is the physical structure of your forest, and the configuration partition gets replicated to all domains, all controllers in the domain, and it also gets replicated to domain controllers all over the forest. The schema partition is the same way. The schema partition is what keeps up with the object classes and their attributes, and it gets replicated to all domain controllers within the domain and to all domain controllers throughout the forest. The application directory partition we mentioned can be set up specially for software applications that utilize Active Directory functionality. Let's talk about something here that may need to be aware of, that you could see or hear this term in the exam, and that's called loose coupling. Now, Active Directory is going to automatically take care of replication within a domain and to that configuration and schema partitions even in other domains, and it's going to do it using a technology that's kind of called loose coupling. What it's going to do is it's first of all concerned about 3 things: accuracy or the integrity of the data, that the data is the same on each server; consistency or convergence, that any one server is going to be very close or identical in information to the other one; and performance, that we move this data around in the most effective possible manner, most efficient manner. Now we've got a problem here. When a change gets made to one domain controller, how fast? First of all, we want to make sure the integrity of that data is good, that the data was stored correctly, that it's protected from loss and so forth. Then we want to make sure that it's consistently replicated around so everybody has the same thing within a relatively short period of time. And then performance, we want to do this without just taking over the network and just blocking it down so that nothing else can move across the network. Now this can get to be a challenge, and Microsoft has kind of wrestled with this since Active Directory first appeared in the year 2000. Now you basically have 2 ways that you can control replication traffic. It's going to happen automatically within the domain and schema and configuration partitions all over the forest. So if you want to control replication traffic, you're going to have to separate your servers into different sites, and you can also limit the number of global catalog servers. And we will talk about global catalog servers in a separate video. So again, just kind of go through this information, listen to what I'm talking about here, and then when you go sit the exam, make sure you have these facts straight, and you will probably be able to pick out the correct answer just by understanding how Active Directory works, how it is separated and how it's replicating, and how to control replication traffic if it's a problem.